Distinguished attendees of 2025 SPW, good afternoon. I am from China Fiberglass Association. My name is Wen Hui. I'm also the Secretary General of the Security Subcommittee of our association. So today I will be covering several chapters in my talk, including the overview of the fiberglass industry, its history, its evolution, the challenges and opportunities in the new situation, the new goals and ideas for the future, and how we want to attain the goals. As you know, that fiberglass is basically fiberglass is produced based on natural mines, and after such natural mines are crushed and they are melted under high temperature, then turning them into fiberglass. As a result, it has a lot of very good properties, such as it's being really light with high strength, and they are China national standard and definition of fiberglass. Fiberglass, where it stands in the material ecosystem, in the material universe. If materials are divided into organic and inorganic, then fiberglass belongs to inorganic. And if you take a look at the chart on the right-hand side, organic fiber is something that you are more familiar with, such as cotton and hemp, as well as other types of organic fiber. But fiberglass, about a couple of years ago, we proposed the idea of more general concept of fiberglass, which means that this type of material is processed from the raw material of minerals. So this chart showed you the current classification of different types of fiberglass, including high alkaline fiberglass, which now is not recommended for use, and different types of fiberglass have different prices. So a few words about its processing or its processes. We have the so-called crucible process, generally known as two-step method. So you have the crucible, small crucible, to melt the mineral balls. That's the two-step method. But we also have one-step method, which is called tank furnace process. But now there are other ways to make fiberglass, including channel furnace, fiber drawing method, and electric melting furnace drawing method, but they only account for less than 1%. As for fiberglass products, mainly fiberglass products are used as raw material, and they've gone through such processes as weaving, matting, and texturizing and expansion. Depending on the end use, different processes will be chosen. Product type, we divide product type into three major categories. Product used in the industrial sphere, such as used for construction. In the morning session, some experts mentioned that fiberglass can be used in the real estate industry. And the second category, reinforcement or reinforced fiberglass. And the third category, used in electronic products. For example, even if you use phone, then the circuit PCB, in the PCB board, you will find traces of fiberglass. And this chart shows you the overall value chain. In the upstream, you find the minerals. So platinum, where can you find platinum's presence? The platinum can find its presence in the upstream, in the drawing process, in the tank furnace. So after the minerals are put through the drawing process in the tank furnace, they are then turned into fiberglass. Such fiberglass can then be produced into other products that can be applied in various downstream industries. So a few words about the history of fiberglass. In the 1938, the fiberglass industry was born in the U.S., and in 1958, China's fiberglass industry was born in the city of Shanghai. Chinese developed a crucible method based on what they had learned from former Soviet Union technology. In the 1997, China managed to put in place the first 10,000-ton capacity alkaline-free fiberglass tank furnace joint assembling line. In 2007, China's fiberglass yarn annual capacity surged to #1 in the world. And in 2024, as Mr. Bianjiang mentioned, that our annual output reached 7.56 million tons thanks to digital means and digital empowerment. So this chart shows you the growth curve. Actually, in 2023 and 2024, the curve is moving downwards. In other words, our industry keeps seeking high-quality development trajectory because later on, as I will explain later on, that the traditional demand sector will continue to dwindle, which means that we have to carve out new demand sector. So this chart shows you how fiberglass is used in various downstream industries in electronics for industry use.
So I'm going to give you more details with words and pictures. And this is our association and the work we have done. And in terms of the electronics, we are going to promote and different areas like bowl salt fiber. And this March, and in Xinjiang and NR, we have this bowl salt and and the techniques, and basically and for promoting the safeguard and the security. And at the end of 2024, and we also formed and this glass fiber and for products and fuels and for reinforced and plastics. And we also have used into like PV and ocean engineerings, and all of the industries can be included. I have look of the imports and exports, and these are numbers of year 2024. And for last year, the overall outputs was around exports was around 2 million tons, and it was actually a big breakthrough. So, and since year 2011, and for the past 10 years, the export volume was about 1.1 million, and gradually we have the growth of recent years, and basically due to the OC and PPG factories in other countries, because they stopped this capacity, so that's why there's more demand. So for the imports, it's about 100,000 tons, and you can see from that map. So in the past, we basically imported 200,000 tons, but last year we only imported 100,000 tons. And have look of the opportunities and challenges. Of course, we can see and due to the double carbon development strategies. So like some of the guest speakers this morning mentioned about the green and low carbon development. So which is a kind of limits and restrictions to the industry at the same time. So it also promotes the industry to have the high quality development. For example, and there's a global consensus we need to cope with the global climate change and a lot of the other factors, and promote China and accelerate the speed of the energy transition. And the second one is about smart manufacturing empowerment, like AI and the biological technology, and all of this new industry coming out to accelerate and the transitions to the smartness and intelligent, and it will also promote and the fast development. The third one is about scientific and innovation. Of course, for now, China is shifting from a high-speed development stage to a high-quality development stage. So that's why the development is more promoted and by high quality. So in some key areas, and like the chip technology, AI, and solid-state batteries, and we needed to have the breakthrough. Of course, the domestic market expansion. So like some other guest speakers in the morning mentioned about the uncertainties of global trading and the policies for the U.S. And for now, and we basically rely on the internal market continued to promote the demand. Actually, the glass fiber last year we produced 7.56 million tons. We exported 2 million tons. So export only accounted for 26%. However, back to the year 2010, so the exporting accounted for 60 to 70%. So that's why most of them for now, so the consumption and the application was also in China, of course, and we still need to rely on the internal market to build up the demand. Of course, you can see the people's livelihood going up, and the consumption is higher. So you can see the consumption market of China is already with the feature of high quality and diversified. So we also have this demand for high quality. And for the challenges, of course, we have limits on the resources and the environment, because we needed to use the mines and the furnace and the raw materials of the mines. So we still rely on the natural gas and electricity and the resources. So with the restrictions of the double carbon policies, we still face a lot of the challenges, including energy saving. So how can we achieve the sustainable development and under the current restrictions? So it's a very difficult topic to us, and we need to make breakthrough, and we needed to have the high-speed development. Of course, you can see the U.S. tariffs have had a significant negative impact on the global economic situation and the Russia-Ukraine war, etc. So bring a lot of uncertainties of global trading. Of course, you can see the international trade frictions may also lead to the blockage of China's exports. So all this will impact our stability. Okay, so we have the opportunities of challenges. However, we still need to look into the future. So that's why we proposed the new goals for the industry development. So firstly, we still needed to have the new mindset. So because this industry has already entered into a new stage, actually for the glass fiber industry, so yes, at the same pace and with China's GDP development. So there's a demand, so that's why the growth is promising. However, and after entering into the new stage, we still needed to transition from high-speed development into high-quality development. Of course, the external factors are changing, and like the traditional glass fiber companies from Europe and America, they reduced their market share and continue the decline in benefits and reduce the investment in R&D. So like we said, like the Saint-Gobain of France, BPG of the US, and all these countries, and they basically exceeded from the market. So that's why for the traditional leaders, they exceeded from the market. So the production is always in China. So what do we do? So who is the leader? So that's why for China's glass fiber industry, we still needed to change the site. So we must be switched from a tracer, a follower, and to a leader. So we do not only focus on the scale and the volume. We needed to lead the industry and to own a greener and low carbon way to benefit the mankind, because we are using the mines. And you can see that for the mines accumulated for tens of millions of years. And you can see that China's flag and going to the moon, so that is also made by an basalt. And we can clearly see that there's kind of industry value potential. So it has glass fiber and is a material for consuming the materials resources. But the glass fiber has excellent mechanical properties, physical and chemical stability, flexible textile processing characteristics. So actually, you can see the producing process is very short, and it has a low energy consumption. So it also has the features of low carbon and green. And you can see that for glass fiber also has its own price strength. And if we calculate it by ton per ton, the cotton is 15,000 RMB, and you can see the polyester and the nylon, and 8,000 and 15,900. So you can see the prices are very fluctuating. And for the regular glass fiber, the price is around 4,500 RMB per ton. So glass fiber has its own strength and in terms of the prices. So we needed to build up the new goal, and we needed to benefit humankind. So this inorganic non-metallic fiber industry with natural properties of resource and energy dependence, we needed to transform towards a technology-based and environment-friendly industry, better serve the society and better meet people's needs. So that's why we need to have advanced technology and advanced performance, reliable and safe and low carbon and energy saving, green, market recognized. Now we have look of what we have done. Of course, and in terms of the demand side, and we needed to meet and the needs of the upgrading of the traditional industries. And you can see we cover the traditional markets in construction infrastructure, automobiles and transportation, electronics, electrical, etc. And in May of this year, the Ministry of Housing and Construction have the new standard for good houses like smartness, and the height raised from 2.8 meters to 3 meters. So for the 20 centimeters increased, has more opportunities for fiberglasses. And there are also some new markets. And from the construction structure and the bathroom and decoration and urban infrastructure, we needed to have the full round upgrading, like the temperature controlling of the vehicles and electronics and electrical. So everywhere there's a kind of the electrical panel, and there's the glass fiber. Of course, we also cover the wind power and the chemical environment, for example, like the ocean wind. And carbon fiber also has its strength for anti-alkaline, like alkaline resistant. And of course, we also have our strength and in anti-corrosion pipes and cans, and for the boring environment protection facilities. So all of this can be using our products. Of course, we still needed to expand the emerging market. So our association focuses on the following and 5 new emerging markets. In the past, everybody is seizing the cake. So who is building this new cake and new market? So that's why we needed to have the brainstorming. And a couple of years ago, in year 2023, we had a PV workshop. And basically, focus on the PV frames and PV brackets, flexible back planes, and energy storage equipment. And some companies started to do the R&D and of applying fiberglass and into the frame and the brackets of PV. And in recent years, we basically integrated these resources, and we are going to move toward the PV industry and protection, like new energy vehicles. And the biggest risk and for security and is from the detonation. And if it is burning, of course, and it's very dangerous. So this comes combustion, and can destroy and the other vehicles on the street. And we also use this glass fiberglass and into the vehicle for better temperature control. We can also see the temperature is as high as 1500 degrees Celsius. So we can go against this high temperature. And for the new energy vehicles, and we still need this high powerful glass fiber. And we also heard that there are a lot of the saying talking about a household 5 blankets. If you have these household 5 blankets, so there are no more 10 in this conference room have these 5 blankets at home. So because we heard from a lot of the news, and like these 5 blankets, and like the welding blankets, and like the fires from the factories. So due to the welding, because in the welding process, they didn't use some protection. So actually, they only needed to use kind of the blanket made by glass fiber, and then these fires can be prevented. And we also expanded to the market of marine development and construction, including offshore engineering and PV offshore wind power, and smart logistics, and smart pallet, and green beauty. Okay, so for the important work we have done, I already covered that. And the safety protection, so compared glass fiber to aramid fibers and carbon fibers. So different fibers performance. And you can see so the prices here are talking about the normal fiberglass. We also have the high prices, the more premium fiberglass, and the application. You can see in the family industry, like the temperature protection cover can reduce the temperature in the working place and new energy vehicles.
Currently, we are working with China's National Ministry of Emergency Management on revising 2 policies. As you can see, usually in public places, you must have this barrier. Just in case if there is a major fire, the barrier must be there in order to control the scope of the fire. And some of our key work, we have established a subcommittee on protection or protective or safety use fiberglass, and we work together with China's relevant departments, and we're also working on making fiberglass more popular name. Marine development, such as marine farming, maritime platform, and maritime-based new energy, very popular concept over the past couple of years. Green construction materials, for example, such materials that are used for the insulation and temperature preservation of buildings. As you can see, a lot of materials are made of fiberglass. In the house, you see in one of the charts, the floor and the wall, everything is made of fiberglass, as well as other racing and other composites. Green means that green supply of production raw materials. This echoes or is very much aligned with the concept of circular economy, green control of the processing, and green treatment of waste and used materials, how to create a loop. That's why 2 years ago we proposed a concept of 6-0 demonstration factory. The 6-0 represent 0 emissions and 0 waste and etc. Intelligent production. The creation or the production of fiberglass yarns, fiberglass textile products, and fiberglass reinforced composite. But in terms of the fiberglass reinforced composite, we still have a lot of work to do in that regard. High-end, as I mentioned, that there are various types of fiberglass products, as I listed a number of different types of fiberglass products. And the 3D composite materials also highly diversified, including fiber and PV, used in aircraft. In the future, we would find the application of fiberglass materials highly diverse, such as graphene, micro-nanometer. They can be finding application in all these areas. So the market is really huge. If you are interested, feel free to reach me so that we can work together to carve out a trajectory of high quality development for the industry. Thank you very much.